Hi, I'm back. I don't think I've done a video to post since July, maybe, which is super sad. Maybe August. Or have I posted since then? It doesn't really matter. I have posted since then, because I got that grant and bought a bunch of books for my classroom, and I think I posted all of those. Anyway, it's been a long time, and I'm back. And part of why it's been a long time is simply because I like long form videos. I am a yapper. And I've just had this problem with feeling like I'm rushed in all of my videos. So while I am upset that TikTok is being banned, I feel like this gives me the opportunity to make longer videos about books and everything else, and maybe start posting them on YouTube, which I think I should just do because, why not? I want YouTube to be the move again. I really do want YouTube to make its comeback. I loved watching YouTube videos, so I'm really hoping this is the time for long form videos to make their return, rather than the quick 2-second videos. So yeah, with that said, over the new year, I was talking to some friends, and I don't drink. I just don't like to. I don't think I've ever had a problem with alcohol. I went through my fun days a few years back, but I don't like how it makes me feel. I don't like the physical effects on me, the mental effects, just kind of everything. So I just stopped drinking one day and never really picked it back up. Now, that's not to say I won't have a drink here and there, but it's very rare that I ever actually have alcohol anymore. If I want a Moscow Mule, I will drink a Moscow Mule without the vodka because I'm not drinking it for the vodka, I'm drinking it for the flavor. So I have no problem with that. I'm a big fan of mocktails and fun little drinks that are not alcoholic, and I think alcohol is going to become less and less popular, especially now that it's come out that there are ties between alcohol and cancer, which was not really news because, yeah, that makes sense. But anyway, so over New Year's, I was talking with some friends, and I'm like, I should do a vlog of me trying different mocktails because there's lots of mocktails on the market. Again, I think alcohol and just casual drinking is going to be on the decline. Now, obviously, it's never going to stop, especially where I live in a small town. It's just part of the community and part of the culture here, which is fine, but it's just not for me. So I'm like, yes, let's do it. Let's make video. I'm going to order mocktails, or I'll make mocktails, whatever it is, and I'm going to talk about them and talk about other things too, obviously, because I could talk about books. So I'm like, why don't I combine that? Do a book review today of the last 6 months of the year, because I never picked up on my yes, no, maybe. I did it for the first 6 months, haven't done it since. So what I'm going to do is first open my mocktails. Then I'm going to run through the second half of the year as far as reading goes, and kind of go over what I read in the last half of the year, which was much slower than what I had done the first half of the year. But things just get busy and school starts, and it's hard to read when I have work to do. So, and honestly, I've just been lazy. So maybe TikTok getting banned is going to be good for me because I think I'm going to be able to tap into some other hobbies. I'm really looking to pick up some grandma hobbies, and I just need to find some things that I like. Unfortunately, one of my hobbies is spending money on clothes and other things. So I need to stop with the online shopping. Also, I got a record player for Christmas, which is awesome. I'm loving it. But that's not helping me spend less money, because then I just want to buy every album I've ever loved on vinyl and blare it through my house. Anyway, back to the mocktails. I ordered Hiyo mocktails. I ordered them from the Hiyo website. Kind of fun because on this recipe card, which you can't see because it's backwards, they give different mocktails to make with the cans. So the thing about Hiyo is that, one, they're non-alcoholic, obviously, that's why I'm calling it a mocktail, but two, they have organic adaptogens in it, which are just supposed to be stress relieving, mood boosting. Now, it's not the THC drinks, it's organic, it's natural, They're calling it the float. So our non-alcoholic special talk, you would never know I'm a teacher with my poor ability to read out loud. Our non-alcoholic social tonics are crafted with organic adaptogens, natural nootropics. I'm going to look into the pronunciation of that word. That's another problem I have, is that I started reading such advanced books at a young age. I was a reader as a kid. I was reading all the time. Those AR points were racking up. I was going for the medals, for the big prizes for AR. That sometimes words that I see now, I've read them in books and I've pronounced them a certain way for so long that I don't know the actual pronunciation, or I'll hear a word and I'm like, what? How would, like, what is that? And then I'll connect the dots that, oh, that's how I've been pronouncing it while reading in my head for years, and this is how it's pronounced out loud. Anyway, in functional botanicals, to provide a stress-relieving, mood-boosting lift we like to call the float. Whether you're hosting family and friends, relaxing by the fire, or celebrating a soiree, Hiyo inspires more solace on the sofa, more happy hours without hangovers, more presence at parties, and ultimately a happier, healthier you. Cute. And these are holiday recipes on the back. So, whipping this out of the box. This has been in the fridge for a week. I just, like, haven't found a reason, and the Chiefs game will be on soon, and I'll go over my books, and I'd like to do that before. So, Hiyo, organic. This box looked like it was beat to crap. Social tonic, we have blackberry lemon, peach mango, strawberry guava, and watermelon lime. Sparkling functional seltzer. As far as ingredients go, I think they seem pretty clean. I'm guessing the adaptogens are the things like the ashwagandha extract. I don't really see anything. The lion's mane, maybe, I think is supposed to help with some of the calming things, if I remember correctly, just from, like, my knowledge elsewhere. Yeah, but the ingredients seem pretty clean. Gently flip, then sip. Best served chill. If you have health conditions, I don't have health conditions, so. Again, these are non-alcoholic. I didn't have to be, like, a certain age to buy them. The adaptogens that are in them, I think they're also in, there's this brand of coffee, and I can't remember what it's called right now. It's like canned little lattes that have similar, like, ingredients for that, like, adaptogen thing. Okay, so the first one that I see is the watermelon lime, which is perfect, because that's actually kind of what I wanted to begin with. 30 calories, 3 grams of added sugar, 11 grams of carb. Again, I don't really give a crap. It's non-caffeinated, recyclable, obviously, non-GMO, which I don't care. Gluten-free, I don't care. Vegan, I'm not. And then USDA organic, which doesn't really make a difference to me. So let's give her a try. She's cute. They're calling it a functional seltzer, and I do hope it's carbonated. I think if it's flat, I'm going to be disappointed. Smells like an alcoholic seltzer, which, whatever. Okay. If you have ever had a Culture Pop, they sell them at Walmart in town now. So for those of you watching this who have knowledge of where I live, the Walmart in town sells Culture Pop. They're it's like kind of like Olipop, kind of like Poppy, that same genre of drink. This is what this reminds me of. A super light flavor. It has a little carbonation, but not like the sting your throat McDonald's Sprite carbonation, which I'm not hating. I love a good McDonald's pop. I don't know what that was. I had a Chomp's beef stick earlier, so maybe it was that. This is delicious. Like, actually delicious. Now, I'm not going to have more than one, because I'm not, but for a little afternoon fun drink, this is good. This could be fun. Again, I'm not really expecting to feel anything from the adaptogens. Like, I'm not expecting to feel the float. In fact, I hope I don't feel the float. That's another reason I don't drink, is because I don't like the feeling of being drunk or under the influence of something. I feel very out of control. So, also, I'm going to post this to my Bookstagram as, like, a story with a link to this new YouTube channel I'm going to make. If you are my students watching this, I've told you all forever. Whenever you're like, you party, what do you do on the weekends, da-da-da. I'm lame. I'm at home on a Saturday trying mocktails because I don't drink. I don't like to. So if y'all thought I was lying and thought I was actually fun, I'm not. Little change of seating just for the sake of my comfortability. Also, yes, I know I look rough. I look tired. The bags under my eyes, the dark circles, that's just the way it's gonna be. Also, this aloe set, while comfortable, overpriced, low quality. The inside comfy, the fabric on the outside trash. I've worn it through an airport on a travel day when I went to Hawaii last month. It's bad. It's pilled. Just like, save your money, get something else. Their Muse sweatshirt is wonderful. Love it. The Accolade, I think that's what this is. Hate it. Comfortable, poor quality though. So, I digress. Let's get back into books. Instead of trying to track down all of these books right now, that's just a lot of effort that I'm not going to put in. I'm going to display them somewhere up here. I don't know where. It might be on this side, might be in the middle, might be over here, who knows, but somewhere. And turns out I actually did do a recording of my books for a July wrap-up. I went back on my Instagram and looked to see what I had already posted. And also, hopefully these videos don't get taken down, because sometimes I know apps are weird and they don't like you to mention the names of other apps, but like, I don't care. I mean, I'm gonna care if it gets taken down, because it takes me a while to record these and edit them and everything else. But, oh well. It is what it is. There's bigger problems, like the fact that TikTok's going away. Anyway, starting with my August books, I read 2 books in the month of August, which is low, but I am a teacher, so reading kind of gets pushed to the side. I do have my computer pulled up on the side with my Goodreads because I don't have the piles sitting in front of me like I usually do. So, first book was an Elsie Silver book. I loved her Chestnut Spring series. I read them so quickly in the month of July. I think back to back to back to back to back. There was 5. They were the cowboy ones. There was like a hockey, I think he was a hockey player. The third one maybe was the sports one. And then age gap one was the last one. The last one was my least favorite. I gave that like 3.5 stars. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. So Wild Love takes place in Rose Hill. And I'm going to be honest, I'm one of those, if I'm reading a book for the sake of comprehension, I'm diving in. Deep dive for understanding. The books I read with my students in class, I could go in depth and give you an analysis of those books. Right now we're reading The Purple Hibiscus by Chimamanda Adichie. So good, so complex. The kids, I think, for the most part, like it, you know, as much as you like a book that you read in high school. So I am going to look at Goodreads for notes on, like, a reminder of what the book was about, because I read it in August. So don't fault me for that. But Rosie Belmont is the main character. She starts dating, what's his name? Something Forbes. No. It's not Forbes. It's Ford. She starts dating Ford Grant, which is the brother to Willa in one of the Chestnut Springs series. So that's how that's connected. I gave it a 4 stars. Ford is a billionaire. Rosie, I think, is leaving her job, maybe. Yeah, she left the city. I think it was because of a job. Again, maybe I should take better notes over this, because you're going to see this once and be like, never watching her videos again, she rambles. I also get sidetracked very easily. This cup, I love cute cups. I poured my fun little drink into it. Color's pretty. It does match the can color quite nicely, actually. So, yeah, this book was a 4. Obviously, nothing stood out to me where I need to talk about it. I enjoyed it, and I think I reviewed it a little bit in my mini reviews that I have posted in my highlight reel, which I just need to start another one of those because it's getting a little bit long. But yeah, grumpy man, sunshine girly, they work together. She works in his office. yeah, it was fun. It was cute. Very much what you would expect if you've read Elsie Silver before. There was nothing out of the ordinary for her. So, yes, I think that was what I was supposed to be doing. Yes, no, maybe. With the books that I read the second half of the year, really were starting in August, and slim pickings because I didn't read a lot after July. So, yes to Wild Love. I would say that one's worth the read. It's fun, it's light, it's easy. The only other book that I read in August was What Happens After Midnight by K.L. Walther. There was another book that she wrote that I have read, and it was good. It was fun. It was easy. She's like a young adult writer. At least that's kind of what I get from her. The Summer of Broken Rules was a book that I had read by her a while back. I got What Happens After Midnight for my classroom and read it before putting it on my shelves. It's about a girl who goes to boarding school. Her name is Lily. She's a senior. She's like 2 weeks out from graduation and gets invited to be a part of the senior prank, but no one knows who is in charge of the senior prank. It gets passed down and assigned from year to year by the person who was the jester, is what they call them, the year prior. So, come to find out, the jester, and this is not a spoiler, the jester is her ex-boyfriend. So they have to work together to pull off this senior prank. It was cute. It was fun. It was a book I would have devoured when I was 16, 17, 18 years old. So I give that one 4 stars because, again, it was a young adult book. It was nothing that was out of this world fantastic, but it was a really fun read if you just need something cute, easy, and lighthearted. I realized maybe I didn't give that one a rating. That one I would say yes, it's worth the read. Fun. Maybe if you're someone who doesn't like reading young adult, but yes, if you're someone who's just looking for a fight, words are hard. If you are looking for a fun and light read, What Happens After Midnight would be that for you. Moving into September, the first book that I read of September was Elsie Silver. She was easily my most read author. I think she was my most read author for 2024, and I don't know why, because it's not like the books were high literature by any means, but they were fun and they sucked me in, and I can't help it. They were also free on Kindle Unlimited, so that's a plus if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription. But I read the first book in her Gold Rush Ranch series. Off to the Races is what this one was called. Von Harding owns like a I'm not a horse girl, but he owns some, I don't want to call them like stables because it's not really stables. He owns a ranch, it's in the title of the story. Off to the Races. He owns a ranch. It's the Gold Rush Ranch series. So, he owns Gold Rush Ranch. He has to kind of dig his family out of a hole that the grandfather had gotten them in. And then you get, what's her name? I don't even remember her name. This is so bad. Billy, maybe. Is it Billy? That sounds right. It's Billy. Billy is coming in to be a horse trainer and works for him. They fall in love because why wouldn't they? So that one was fun. Maybe, yeah, if you've read Elsie Silver in the past and you're getting kind of used to her formula, I think that one would be fine. So let's say maybe on that one. Obviously, nothing again stood out to me. The second book that I read in September is a maybe. So I read 28 Summers by Ellen Hilderbrand over the summer and loved it. It was so good. So good. One of my favorites of 2024, which I think I never posted like a top 10 of 2024. I'm going to have to do that sometime. Problem for a different day. But 28 Summers had a sequel. It was very short, like not even 100 pages, I don't think, called The Sixth Wedding. And Jake McLeod, who was the love interest to Mallory in 28 Summers, returns to Nantucket for Labor Day weekend. Jake is friends with Mallory's brother at this point. Actually, I don't want to spoil too much. I don't want to spoil too much in case you haven't read 28 Summers. But it's a return. So all of the characters kind of get together. You hear what happens after 28 Summers. So maybe I think I would have been perfectly fine had this story not existed. I read it because it does exist, but I didn't think it was a necessary read. So that one is definitely a maybe. I was also still on my audiobook kick for a little bit over the summer. Audiobooks come and go for me. I sometimes am into them, sometimes I'm not. It just kind of depends on my mood. So I listened to The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston, or Poston, I'm not sure on that. I gave it a 4 stars. I would think maybe. Magical realism again. The main character, Flo, she's a ghostwriter for a famous author. She goes to get some ghostwriting accomplished, meets the new editor. Turns out the new editor dies, but so does Flo's dad. So Florence has to return to her hometown, which she's kind of stayed away from because she had a terrible upbringing, not because she comes from a bad family. She comes from a great family, but she solved a murder because she's able to see ghosts or speak to ghosts, which is also an ability that her father had. Her father owned a funeral home before passing. So it's magical realism. If you want the ghosty vibes, this book was fun. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I think this one's a maybe. Continuing with Elsie Silver books, the second book, To Gold Rush Ranch, was a photo finish. It is Violet Eaton, so the Eaton brothers from her Chestnut Springs series. Also, I'm still picking up on the millennial habits, like my mannerisms that I have, and I'm sorry, but if you're watching this, you're probably a millennial, and if you've made it this far, great, and if not, I can't blame you. We're getting a little winded here, and I'm not sure if there's going to be spots that I can cut up, because it's flowing mostly well, and I could cut all these conversations out, but what would be the point of a YouTube video if that's the case? I would just make it a 2-minute video on Instagram, which is something I'm kind of straying away from. Anywho, so Violet is the Eaton's sisters from Chestnut Springs series. Cole is the brother of Vaughn Harding from the first book in the Gold Rush Ranch series. Again, I think this one's a maybe. They formed a relationship through pictures and online, and it was mostly anonymous, and then they meet in real life. They kind of run into each other. So all of that unravels from there. It was fine. It was good. I gave it 4 stars because, again, Elsie Silver sucks me in, but it was nothing that was, you have to read this. The next book, and so this is the 5th book that I read in September, was a reread, actually. It was Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I read that book in 2021, I think is when it was, and loved it. Read the next book and the next book in the series, got to War Storm, I think is what book 4 is called, and just never picked it up. One of my students had let me borrow their copy, and it sat in my classroom for 2 years until that student graduated in May, and I returned the book to them. So, just never got around to getting that far. Read Red Queen, like I read the book Red Queen, again in September. Still liked it, remembered some things, and then I got the second book and the third book from our school library that I work at, and I just haven't gotten around to finishing it. So I think it's a series that I want to read. I just don't know why I'm not dedicating the time to it. So that's something I need to work on. I would say yes to Red Queen, and I can give you an update on the other books in the series if I actually get through them. I haven't gotten through them because I dislike the books. That's not the case at all. I quite like the books that I've read. I just haven't made it that far. So, yes to Red Queen. The last book of Elsie Silver's that I read for 2024 was Wild Eyes. This is a Rose Hill book. Weston Belmont, who is the brother of Rosie Belmont, which I mentioned in another one of my Yes, No, Maybe, the same video, but I just don't remember which book it was. He is a single dad. Cute story that way. He stumbles upon, again, can't remember her name. Scrolling. Skylar Stone. She's a pop star. She kind of has like a falling out with her record label, and she stumbles upon Rose Hill, and she starts working at the record label that I mentioned in one of my previous books. Same Elsie Silveryverse. All of her stories are kind of connected somehow. She starts working with a new record label. She is living in the guest house that Weston Belmont owns. He has children, so there's that to figure out. They fall in love, Same formula as the previous books, which is fine. So I gave that one a 4-star just because, again, I like them. Don't yuck my yum. So that was it for September, and we are coming up on 15.5 minutes, so I'll try to roll through the next couple months. The only book that I read in October was Night Road by Kristen Hanna. I think I got that from Libby, maybe? Or it might have been a Kindle Unlimited book. It was a 4-star book. I love Kristen Hanna, but there were some things that happened in Night Road that I didn't love. Actually, not even things, people. Jude Faraday is the mom of Maya, who knows how it's pronounced, and Zach. They're wealthy, they're a loving family. She's definitely a helicopter mom, but the kids are well loved. And then Lexi comes into the picture. Lexi is living with an aunt, I believe, because her family is trash, and I think her mom is maybe dead. I don't know, she was in foster care. Ends up living with a relative that she just met, becomes best friends with Mia, then falls in love with Zach, gets welcomed into the family by Jude and the kids and, of course, their father, and they're all hunky-dory there, and then things go south one terrible night, and years later, Lexi returns after some time in jail and has to kind of face the consequences of her actions, and I don't think she was bad. I stand by her and support her as a character. Hated the mother. Hated Jude Faraday. She's the mom of the twins, the mom of Lexi's best friend, the mom of Lexi's boyfriend. She sucked. She was just kind of, and I think she showed true grief and kind of that grief cycle and resentment towards a situation. I think that was depicted probably very accurately. I wouldn't know because I've never been in that situation. So I can't fault Kristen Hanna for that. But because of that, and I think because of the realisticness of that, I hated her. Because she wasn't a likable character. And I don't think she was supposed to be. I think she was supposed to be a real character. I don't think she was supposed to be a likable character. So that one I gave 4 stars. Again, no fault to Kristen Hanna. I love the story itself. The characters are kind of what did it for me. So that, and I think the ending, I want to say the ending kind of sucked. Maybe, I don't know. There's so many things that I'm crossing in my mind. Moving into November, I read 2 books in November, which was Funny Story by Emily Henry. I gave that one 4 stars. That might be the first book of Emily Henry's that I've given 4 stars. Daphne and her fiance Peter end up not getting married. Peter ends up with his childhood friend. Daphne ends up moving in with Peter's new fiance, new girlfriend, whatever she is, her ex-fiance. So it's like couple swapping because of an unfortunate situation of the two people falling in love with each other because they've known each other their whole lives. So it was good. I liked Miles. I liked Daphne. The story was fun. I just don't think it was one of Emily Henry's best works. There was just some parts in it that I'm like, seriously, that ruined it for me. Not ruined. It was still a good book. I would say yes to this one. I don't know if I answered that either for Night Road. I would say yes to Night Road. But yeah, I don't know. Funny Story was fine. It just wasn't my favorite by Emily Henry, which is saying something because I think every book that I've read by Emily Henry, I'm like, yes, this is so good. And this one was good. I just wouldn't give it that so good title. Still in November. I read The Serpent and the Wings of Night, by Carissa Broadbent. I gave this one 4 stars. It's a romantasy novel, so fantasy and romance, human, vampire, stuff like that. Similar storyline to things I've read in romantasy series before, and even I'm on the second book now, and something happened in my reading last night that I'm like, I've seen this film before. I have. And I think that just tends to happen a lot in fantasy books, is they kind of pick ideas from others. There's a template, right? We are familiar with the hero's journey, and how if you look at the plot of Lion King or Shrek, Star Wars, Harry Potter, some really complex texts from thousands of years ago, they follow the hero's journey. So the same formula for a plot. There's just some things here that I think are kind of repetitive, but I liked the first book enough to read the second book. So that's what I'm on now. I'll talk more about that in a different video because it's not a 2024 read, it's a 2025 read. So yes to that one. If you like fantasy, romance, vampires, stuff like that, if you can take the time. The last book that I read of the year, I think, was one of my favorite books that I read of the year. It is The Storyteller by Jodi Picoult. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. It was recommended to me by a coworker. She's like, I read this book and I just need somebody to talk to it about. And I'm like, sure. Yeah. She had a copy. She gave it to me. Oh my gosh. So good. By the end, I was left like jaw on the floor. The main character's name is Sage, and she stumbles upon Joseph Weber, who they met through like a grief support group. And then he shows up at the bakery she works at. They become friends. And then Joseph admits to this insane secret of his and asks Sage, and I'm just gonna come out and say it, he asks Sage to kill him. He's like 90 something years old. Sage is in her 20s. There's definitely a reason as to why he asked her to be the one that kills him, but it was just insane, the premise of this story and the twists and the turns. And the book is called The Storyteller, and oh my goodness, Jodi Picoult, according to her TikTok, is just an incredible storyteller. The way she had everything weaving the whole time, and the way as you read, dots would start to connect in your head, but when you get to the end, shook. Still unexpected to fight everything that I had read reading up to it. That was a twist I had not been expecting. It was voted as the reader's favorite fiction on Goodreads in 2013, and it did win that award, which I can see why. It has 4.3 stars on Goodreads, 249,000 ratings, 21,688 actual reviews. So this one was a well-earned 5 stars and an absolute yes, a must read. So yeah, that wrapped up my 2024. I think I ended up reading 52 books, 53, 54, I don't remember, which was quite a bit lower than what I had read in the past. In the past, I had read, I think for 2 years straight, like 70, 71 books. I just kind of took some time to slow down. I was also in grad school. I had 2 semesters. No, I had 1 semester. My final semester of grad school started in January of 24. So I had that, and that was just heavy, and I wasn't really in the mood to read a ton, which I think there was 1 month in 2024 that I didn't read a single book. So yeah, I am still on my pursuit to read really solid books. I think sometimes I fall into some lower quality books because of the entertainment value, which there's no shame in that. I think you should read books for entertainment. I don't know. I'm still looking for really high quality books. I want to say was it 2020 or 2021? I think it was 2021 was really when I started my reading journey, hitting it hard again. And I read incredible books, and I think I've just kind of been chasing that ever since. but I think for a couple years there, I was chasing a number of books too, and I think quality is such a better journey to go on than quantity. I don't know if journey to go on was really the right phrase there, but I think, at least I'm hoping, to continue to slow down and just appreciate the books that I'm reading. Obviously, my comprehension, like, once I read the little excerpts on Goodreads, I remember what the book was about, but it just takes some time for the wheels to spin, because I read a book and then I rarely think about it again. The Storyteller was definitely an outlier, I think. It's one of those books that I think I could still talk about and give you information on and would want to dissect more. There's a lot of really good books coming out in 2025, so I'm excited for my reading journey, but I'm also hoping to read some authors' backlogs and just kind of, or backlists, I guess I don't really know what they're called, but some of their older books that were published and maybe not as popular as their books now, but are still good, high-quality books that kind of led them to their success that they're seeing today. So, that said, let me know if you like this long format. I know it's a lot of time, and turn that speed up to 2 times and just hear me ramble. I think I already kind of talk in like 1.5, so 2 might be a little speedy for you. But if you need to turn the time up so you get through it faster and you just want to hear the book recommendations, wonderful. If you don't want to watch the video, I have the mini review highlight, like I mentioned, on my Instagram. Back to the mocktail. I'm bad at drinking things and talking at the same time. I got this cup, I think, from Etsy, is where I got that. It's actually in my 2024... Alyssa, if you're watching it, I have to bring you your gift still. But yeah, you're getting a cup. That I got another one of these. I think the writing is pink or blue. Anyway, I don't know if I said this in the earlier video when I was drinking the mocktail to begin with. My last name it rhymes with mock. And my friend was like, what if you did mock talk? And I'm like, actually, that's genius. Mock talk. And she came up with it lickety-split. So quickly, she came up with that, mock talk. And I'm like, that's actually genius. And then put my last name in front of it, which I don't know. Some people are creepy, and I don't want my information out there that much. But yeah, so this is mock talk. I will talk books. I will talk mocktails. I will talk more about the reasons why I don't drink and kind of maybe present just my experiences with that, because I'm going on this sobriety journey for, I want to say this is like year 2, year 3, year 4. I don't even remember anymore. Probably year 3. So it's just wild to kind of see the observations I've made and the reflections I've had. So we'll talk books. We'll talk mocktails. I might even start talking records, because that is a hobby that I think I'm going to eat up. I've always loved music, and now that I have a record player, I'm just kind of diving back into that field again. I just kind of like, I was still actively listening to a ton of music, but I just wasn't diving into it like I used to back in my high school days. So that is a hobby that I am looking forward to developing further and getting back into. But with my record player, I think we could have some good chats with that, and I can go over what my record player is. I've got a lot of ideas up here, just kind of looking for an outlet to just yap, because I am the queen of Yap City. So if you're watching this far, thank you, love you, appreciate the support. I have like 3 fans, so excellent. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday or whatever day you're watching this on. Enjoy a mocktail or something yummy. Hiyo, recommend it. Little pricey, don't care. So is being an alcoholic, which I never was. I'm just making a point. Until next time, toodles!